whose name was Violet. I'm not sure right now the last name. Violet was about 19 years old. She had a new baby, had been married about a year, and she went to visit a friend of an older friend of hers. And as they sat in conversation, she had been introduced as Violet, and I've lost the last name.
Is it Byrne?
Byrne,
Okay.
yes. But, and as the wife of Jim Byrne, and the woman she was talking to said, "Oh, I know Jim Byrne. I see him up in Missouri Valley every now and then with his wife and children." And Violet thought that Jim was her husband, but the reality was that Jim apparently had wives in places. He was a railroad man and traveled back and forth between Missouri Valley and Omaha, or maybe Council Bluffs, and had a wife at each end of the line, and now with children. Well, Violet's mother left him immediately, had no money, no means of support, was 19 years old, and she got a job at the Blackstone Hotel being a maid. Could not keep Violet, the baby, with her in that situation, and boarded her out somewhere. And things went on that way for a year or maybe more. And then she got a job in the kitchen and was able to have, I don't know how this could be, but she was able to have her daughter with her, and they lived at the Blackstone Hotel for a couple of years at least while she was working in the kitchen. During that time, Violet's mother, whose name was May, met a dashing young semi-pro baseball player named Harry Small. And that friendship ripened into a romance, and Violet was still boarded somewhere, living in the hotel or with someone else, while her mother and he were courting. But by this time she was about 8 years old, 9. Anyway, she was staying in the hotel or was being boarded someplace while her mother was being courted. And then she was sent to a convent over in eastern Iowa, and I wish I could remember the name of it. Anyway, it was on the border between Iowa and Illinois. And in that convent was a woman named Sister Helen, who was a great aunt or something of that sort of hers. And she stayed in the convent and went to school in the convent for probably a year while her mother was getting married and getting settled. Her mother, who had been poor for all of the years since her husband had been discovered to be bigamous, inherited her father's farm, and there were no other heirs, and this was an Iowa farm, so it was a fairly substantial inheritance. inheritance, and having nothing for that 8 or 9 years, she went on a spending spree, and she bought a ring that had this stone, I can't say it, stone in it, and another one just like it. It was a pair of diamonds. And she bought the bedroom set that we have, which is beautiful mahogany, very substantial 1900 bedroom set. And she bought a dining room set that we have the chairs and the buffet and the china cabinet, but not the table. However, we have a table that's contemporary to the time. And there may have been other things. Anyway, she married Harry Small, and they bought a house at 1421 Sherwood Avenue that is in the address of some things we have
At Omaha?
now in Omaha. And they set up housekeeping and brought Violet, Alan's mother, back into the group. Harry was just a wonderful father to Violet and a wonderful grandfather to Alan and Jerry. It was a happy ending in those terms. And the other stone that was in the ring went to Alan's brother Jerry and was in a safe deposit box the last I knew of it, and may still be.
So were the stones in the same ring originally?
The stones were in the same ring originally, but they took the stones out of the ring and broke them.
Yeah.
Took them apart, and I have one stone, and Jerry's wife, Barbara, had another stone, but she didn't want to wear it, and her daughter, Sue, didn't want to wear it, so it went to a safe deposit box.
Where did this setting come from that you...
Setting Alan and I had made for it.
And when did you start wearing it?
I started wearing it. He gave it to me after his mother gave the stones to the boys about 2 months before she died. And when Alan came home, he said he wanted to have it set in a ring for me. And we went down to the main department store. They had a lovely jewelry department here in Lincoln, and that it was set there. We picked out the setting together, and he gave it to me, and I have worn it as my wedding ring ever since.
That's great. Beautiful.
Yep.
Good story.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.